You're listening to Forgotten or Forbidden. Read by Chest and LilaJean. Written by LilaJean.
Chapter 6. Then he saw. Did you see their faces? Grian, putting down 2 empty buckets, stood hunched over in laughter in his bedroom. The blonde hermit was wearing his modified sweatshirt, so his wings were outstretched. Mumbo watched him, giggling. I was afraid you were going to drop me. Ha! I would never do that. I know, I was still afraid, though. Suddenly, the Redstoner slapped his hand against his head, overwhelmed with frustration. Stupid, oh stupid, dang! What? I left my shulker box on the Wellsmart sign. That had diamonds in it. Diamonds! The man made a sharp gesture to emphasize his point. I can grab it. With my wings, it should take no time. But don't you think that's a little dangerous? Mumbo looked at the man, taken aback. Maybe his sharp gestures worked too well. They had been so careful with the secret. I was nervous at first, but seeing how fast they can go, I'm certain no one would see them, or at least they would think they were an elytra. Wow, really? Thanks. No prob. Mumbo smiled. He was happy his friend was so chill about this whole thing. He knew certainly soon the builder would be happy to share the secret, and that put the Redstoner's mind at ease. The blonde hermit soared through the sky, making it to the shulker box. It was exactly where Mumbo said it would be. Flying back home, he made sure to stay high enough that if anyone were to see him, which was unlikely because he was staying hidden quite well, they would think he was a bird of some sort. He flew with ease, not a care in the world, weaving in and out of acrobatic barrel rolls. Life was good here, and nothing was going to get in the way. Whatever he may face, he knew Hermitcraft would always be here with all his friends, ready to lend a hand, or to laugh with, or to prank. He was full, and he was thankful. Thankful for Mumbo to help him hide his wings. Thankful for Exuma for protecting the people of the server. Thankful for Etho for his hospitality. Thankful for Joe for being a perfect prank target. Thankful for Scar, though he wouldn't admit it. He was the best mare they could have. Everyone worked so well together, and he cherished them more than anything. This was home. Then he paused, seeing him. He couldn't tell who it was, but he could tell he needed help. At least, he was certainly injured. He swooped down on a branch as he took in the scene. A young hermit lay on the ground, unmoving. He was wearing a high-tech armor that looked familiar. A tall, cloaked figure walked out of the woods. Oi! What's going on here? Who's under there? Grian said, jumping off the tree branch and standing over the unknown hermit's body. It can't be! Completely shocked, a raspy voice croaked back under the cloak that floated extraterrestrially as the builder's skin crawled. He knew he was in danger, again, not sure why, but he knew. Without a second thought, he threw a shulker box at the thing in front of him. Apparently it was not expecting for that, and it screamed in pain. Then it vanished. Hey, are you alright? He asked, turning to run to help the unknown hermit up, but he was gone. Vanished, too. Gosh, am I going crazy? He thought. Chuckling to himself, he thought about how much of a pleasure it was to be a part of this crazy server. He was proud. Then, collecting his stuff, he took off, promising himself to tell Exuma about this later. For now, he needed to get home. He was exhausted. Plus, it probably wasn't that big a deal. Any unfixable problems, as any unlockable safe, any unsolvable case, always seemed to work out here on Hermitcraft. That was one of the reasons he loved it so much. He knew it was going to work out. It always did. Night softly fell, and the stars came twinkling over the horizon, painting the gently growing black sky. Everyone's eyes became heavy. The ninja rested his head back as he sat, fishing in his eccentric dream house, refusing sleep. The dog man kicked his legs in his curled up sleep. The bee man took off his helmet in the privacy of his home and dreamed of his brother. The mustached man laid down properly, smiling to himself. The mayor wrapped a hand around his beloved cat and closed his eyes. Speaking of eyes, BOO had already fallen asleep, being the most prolific sleeper. Joe, Corrales, Stress, False, Wells Knight, ZF, XB, Tango, Impulse, Cleo, Jevon, Cub, Doc, and every hermit fell into a deep sleep, including Grian, who lay down on his warm, cozy, soft bed. It had been a good day. He closed his eyes. Grian wasn't in Hermitcraft anymore. He was in an obsidian mansion with tall halls. He was in a ballroom with pillars lining the walls and a long table with ravenous crawling seats. Everything was tinted with a purple hue, and it was easy to tell that they were in an end-like place. And in each seat were tall, black skeleton-like creatures. They wore purple-tinted white masks that had no holes in them for vision, and each of the strangely familiar masks ended in a point down the side of the faces, like an upside-down two-pronged crown. They had strange symbols on them. Each creature wore black capes, pinned around their necks with a purple pin, and a pair of huge purple wings each, like Grian's, extended behind them. The one at the end of the table spoke, giddy with excitement, unable to contain the news that was bursting from them.
We found him, both of them, in one spot. The Underchild, but most importantly, the saved one.
They spoke through a freakishly wide grin, with a creaking language.
We must bring him home. Selkiel must return.
Then Grian saw. He saw how the Watchers took him away. Away from what? What had he lost? They took him. He didn't want to leave, but they took him. He saw himself become a Watcher. They made him a Watcher. They chipped him. They broke him. They did something. Something happened. What was it? Oh gosh. What was it? Something happened, and it was wrong. Grian couldn't get enough air. His stomach squeezed as a rope was tied around his neck. Bees sunk in his fingertips, and spiders climbed up his legs to his neck. How could he have forgotten the thing that caused him so much fear and completely controlled his life? All the emotions came back just as real as when he'd first felt them, flooding his mind. He needed to run. He needed to escape.
Selkiel?
The voices sneered again, and they stood wide-eyed, staring in disbelief at Grian. All the attention was on Grian, and he was in more trouble than he knew. But before he could try to defend himself, he awoke with a jerk in his stone-hard bed. Coldness swept over his body as he remembered the head Watcher's face. He knew all the hermits were in trouble if the Watchers invaded Hermitcraft, looking for him. He would be endangering all of his friends. I can't stay here. I can't let them come. As he whispered those words, he held back blurring vision.